There's so many people out there giving you tax advice on social media. Can I please give you a warning about tax advice on social media? Don't take the advice, including mine. Social media is not a place for something as complex and sophisticated as tax advice. What it's good at is giving you an idea of what you ought to be thinking about, what you should take to your tax advisor. It is not a replacement for a good tax advisor. This is why we have a franchise of tax advisors, because you have to have that person on your team to do this the right way. A lot of the problems with social media, sometimes they're just false, and there's plenty of false stuff out there, which is why the IRS in their Dirty Dozen have social media tax tips as one of their Dirty Dozen. Don't pay attention. They're not saying don't pay attention at all. They're saying is don't believe it. Okay, be skeptical about it, and be skeptical about everything I talk about. Please be skeptical about it. I want you to dig into it, find out, is this real? Does this really make sense? Does this actually work that way? And on top of that, a lot of times, well, in fact, every time, it's not going to be complete, right? It's going to be snippets. Okay, well, the tax law is over 6,000 pages of fine print. That's just the law itself. That's not counting the thousands and thousands of pages of regulations, the hundreds of thousands of pages of rulings, and the millions of pages of court case documents. So imagine you're taking all of that very complex stuff and putting it into a 30-second TikTok video. I've done TikTok videos. I've done TikTok videos that have gone viral. You should check them out. But they're just TikTok videos. They're not advice. The idea you can get sophisticated tax advice on social media is frankly ridiculous. So it's okay to be looking at it. It's okay to ask your tax advisor about it. All right. If your tax advisor laughs, just understand that some of it is just pretty silly and some of it is just flat out illegal. But understand also that it's your responsibility to get it right. So I always recommend a good tax preparer who's also a good tax advisor, somebody on your team who really understands the tax law and has your interest at heart and will actually ask you the questions that you need to be asked in order to get to the best answer for you. Because the best answer for you may not be the answer you're getting on social media. So tax planning is not a tactic here and a tactic there. A good tax plan is comprehensive. It includes really the answers to three primary questions. First question is, how do you make your money? That is the first thing we look at. Okay, how do you make your money? Is there a way to reduce your taxes? For example, using a particular type of entity like a S corporation or a limited partnership or a C corporation, whatever the entity is. Is there a way to use that entity, right? How do you make your money? How do we reduce your taxes on the money you make? The second question is, what are you going to do with your money? Because what you do with your money actually has a bigger impact on your taxes, or can have a bigger impact than how you make your money. And the third question is, what are you going to do with your money when you die? What I never see in a tax plan from other advisors is including the estate planning in the income tax planning. This is something that I've seen very rarely. We do it all the time. But my point is that you really have to look at a holistic approach to your life. And also, let's be clear on one thing. Do not let the tax tail wag the dog, because it's still just a tail. So for example, you go, oh, I want to reduce my taxes, and you go to somebody or you watch something on social media and they say, well, you should buy a big truck and you'll get a big tax deduction for a big truck. And my question is, yeah, but do you need a big truck? Do you want a big truck? Is that something that makes sense to you financially? Sure, the government is going to pay a portion of that, but it's going to be a small portion of that. You're going to pay for most of it, because remember, highest tax rates in this country are 37% federally. So that means that at a minimum, you're paying 63%, right, of that cost of that car or that truck. So don't go do things that are tax-wise and investment foolish. That's a really bad idea. So that's why you have to look at your whole entire picture. And that's why you really need to sit down with a really great tax advisor and walk through. Take your time. If it takes a day or two, it's not complete. It's going to take you several months. This is something that you want to have available to use every month, every year, into 5 years, 10 years, decades. And you want to constantly be looking at, how's my life changing? How's my situation changing? Am I making more money? Am I in a higher tax bracket? Do I have more kids? Do I have a different business? Do I have a different job? Needs for my family? All of these things enter into tax planning. So the idea that you can get your tax planning on Instagram or TikTok or any other kind of social media is pretty crazy when you think about it. Instead, take those ideas, sit down, or better yet, read my book, Tax-Free Wealth. Sit down with your tax advisor and say, hey, what do you think of these things? Help me understand. How could I use this? Is this real or is this fake? And depend on the advice of your tax advisor. Now, if your tax advisor is always saying no, there can't instead of can, or there can't instead of how do I, then that's another question. So then maybe you need a different tax advisor. But remember also that the better questions you ask, the better answers you'll get. For example, asking the question, is this deductible or can I do this, is not nearly as good a question as how can I make this deductible or how can I do what I want to do tax effectively. Different questions get you different answers. And so take that big picture approach. Your life is worth it. Your dreams are worth it. Your money is worth it. Don't try to get the simple answer and say, hey, I'm great, I'm done, I can do this myself. All right. Instead, take a bigger picture approach. If you want to know why the rich pay a lot less tax than you do, it's because they pay attention to the tax law. They have a comprehensive tax plan because they have access to the best tax advisors in the world. Your job is to find a good tax advisor that suits your situation, that you can do a comprehensive plan with, and somebody that will actually ask you good questions. You know, it's hard to know when an advisor is giving you a good answer because you didn't know the answer in the first place. But it's pretty easy to tell when they're asking you good questions. Do they care about you or do they care about their fees? Do they care about you or do they care about just getting it done? All right. Are they constantly putting up roadblocks? Or are they saying, hey, well, let's look into that? I can't tell you how many times I've had a client, they saw something on social media and they brought it to me and I said, well, let's have a chat. Let's look at it. Let's delve into it. If this is good, great, we'll do it. You know, on the surface, it doesn't look very good to me. It doesn't make sense to me, but that doesn't mean it's not true. So I'm constantly learning as well. That's the other thing you want in a tax advisor. Make sure you have a tax advisor that doesn't know all the answers. If you have a tax advisor that thinks they know all the answers, I tell you, they are going to be wrong because there's no way to know all the answers. The more you know about tax, the more you realize you don't know about tax. And that's the kind of tax advisor you want. And that's the kind of holistic planning you want to do. So if you really want the easy button for a great tax advisor, go to tfwadvisors.us and look for one of our TFW advisors, tax advisors, because our advisors, they're trained all the time by me personally. They are constantly studying, they're asking good questions, and their clients love them. So choose one of those advisors or call us at TFW Advisors and we'll help you find the right tax advisor for your situation.